The meeting of the Sacramento County Board of Supervisors for January 9th back to order. Madam Clerk, please reestablish a quorum.
Supervisors Frost.
Here.
Kennedy.
Here.
Natoli.
Here.
Cerna.
Here.
Peters.
Here.
And you have a quorum.
Thank you.
Item number 48, you are acting as the Board of Supervisors and the Sacramento County Water Agency. Direct staff to proceed with necessary actions to comply with legal requirements to add the Metro Air Park Special Planning and Special Capital Development Fee for the Sacramento County Water Agency.
I've got a power. There it is. Good morning, Michael Peterson, Department of Water Resources. The item today is staff is seeking direction to proceed with a Proposition 218 process for the Metro Air Park Special Planning Area Capital Development Fee. This would be a user fee that's applicable strictly to the Zone 50 Metro Air Park area. Let me pull that map up. The Metro Capital fee, again, is a user fee that would be collected from customers within the Zone 50 Metro Air Park area to pay for the dedicated capacity in the city of Sacramento's water distribution system. That's the source of water for the Metro Air Park area. The rate would be $7.75 per month for domestic service. There are no planned domestic connections within Metro Air Park, but there's a rate was included in there nonetheless. And then for commercial and all other users, the rate is 33% of whatever their metered Zone 41 service charge is. That's how the Metro Air Park fee would be determined. This fee was actually established by the board in 2005, along with a developer impact fee component that also goes towards paying for capacity in the city system. At that time, both fees were taken through the Government Code 66,000 process, but not through the Prop 218 process. I think at the time, given that there were no customers in Metro Air Park, and it was paired with the development impact fee, the government 66,000 process was deemed to be appropriate at the time. Since then, staff and council have reviewed that process and determined that to truly enact the user fee portion, we would need to go through the Proposition 218 process to ensure that we followed the proper noticing and timelines for hearings and adoption of the fee. We're not recommending any changes from the methodology that was identified in the 2005 action. We're simply seeking to reenact the fee, again, taking it through the appropriate Proposition 218 process, including direct mail notifications to the property owners in Zone 50, holding public meetings and other outreach meetings with property owners, having a public hearing, and adoption of the ordinance to establish the fee. We have not charged anybody up until this point because there's been no customers, but now that we do have a customer established in Metro Air Park, we want to ensure that moving forward the fee is in place appropriately so that we can begin charging. So approval of this item would simply kick off the Prop 218 process for the Metro Capital fee, and we would propose to hold a hearing not on March 13th, actually on March 20th. At the time that the staff report was prepared, we didn't have the new schedule of board meetings, so there was a placeholder date put in, and staff simply didn't go back and circle back to make sure that that was indeed correct. So this would actually be March 20th, where we would have the public hearing to consider any protests of this fee. I think, all right, and then following that, we would have another hearing for adoption, and then we had implementation in early May of 2018. So with that,
any questions?
Take any questions?
Okay. Seeing none.
If there are no further questions or comments, I'd like to move the item.
Second.
Please vote.
Thank you.
Unanimous vote.
Thank you.
Item number 49, you are introducing an ordinance to revise speed limit on Pringle Avenue, Sargent Avenue, Orr Road, and New Hope Road, and approve installation of a four-way stop at the intersection of New Hope Road and Sargent Avenue.
Good morning, Chair Peters and members of the board. My name is Lou Lee. I'm with the Department of Transportation. Today we're here to present to the board to consider the reducing the current speed limit from 55 to 45 miles per hour on 4 street segments just outside the city of Galt in the rural community area. So can I have the overhead, please?
Do you need something different than this?
Oh, may I zoom in a little more? So I can keep going.
Can we zoom in a little more? There we go. Maybe a little more? I think it's Metro Cable that there you go. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So this is basically the attachment 2 of the board package. So the street we're looking at is Pringle Avenue from Christensen Road to McFarland Street. Orr Road from Christensen Road to Galt City limits. New Hope Road from Christensen Road to Galt City limit also. And the fourth piece of this grid system is the Sargent Avenue from New Hope Road to Live Oak Avenue. The board is also asked to consider the installation of a all-way stop at the intersection of New Hope Road at Sargent Avenue as a measure of speed control, which is indicated as a star there. So the background to this board package is several requests were made by the area residents to reduce the speed limits on these roads and to install additional stop sign in an effort to reduce speeding on these streets. In response to these requests, SACDOT conducted a speed study on these roads, and the speed survey results indicate that the prevailing speed limit speeds on these streets are range from 49 to 58 miles per hour. Speed limits are generally established at or near the prevailing speed or 85th percentile speed, which is defined as the speed at or below which 85% of the traffic is moving. Under some circumstances, such as higher than normal accident rate, the prevailing speed limit may be reduced by 5 miles per hour. A 5 mile per hour speed limit reduction is justified for Sargent Avenue and as well as New Hope Road based on the accident history. After these adjustments are made, the speed survey can only support the revised speed limit of 45 miles per hour on Sargent Avenue, while a 45 miles per hour speed limit is not supported on Pringle Avenue, New Hope Road, and Orr Road. Speed limits within the city of Galt are set at 45 miles per hour or even lower due to the urban development. A revised speed limits of 45 miles per hour on the subject streets would allow for a better transition from the rural roads to the adjacent street in the urban development and vice versa. While the speed survey does not support the speed limit change to 45 miles per hour, the Board of Supervisors may consider the community input and also the growth of residential housing along these roads in reaching a final decision. Also, the intersection of New Hope Road and Sargent Avenue was evaluated for additional stop sign based upon the standard engineering warrants. Based on the existing traffic conditions, this intersection does not meet the requirements for four-way stops. However, the requested all-way stops at this intersection may be considered based on the community input and could be considered as a speed control measure also. So today, the recommendation for the board is to introduce the ordinance to revise the speed limits on Pringle Avenue, Sargent Avenue, Orr Road, and New Hope Road. Waive the full reading of the ordinance and continue this matter to January 23rd, 2018 for adoption. And finally, approve the installation of four-way stop control at the intersection New Hope Road and Sargent Avenue. So this concludes the presentation, and we're available for any questions from the board or the member of the public.
Thank you. First, quick question. It says the surveys you conducted do not support the speed limit change, but that the Board of Supervisors can consider community input. So even though the surveys don't support it, you support it for one or two of the roads?
Yes, the survey.
Due to what? Due to what?
The accident,
accident rate.
Accident rate supports the reduce down to 45 for Sargent Avenue.
And how close are these roads to the city of Galt where the speed limit is lower?
So if I can refer to the map, so the city of Galt is just to the east of the roads we're looking at. So
it's the bronze-colored area on your.
Yeah, in fact, part of the city, right adjacent to Sargent Avenue is two roads.
I don't think any of us can read that from here. Yeah. Even on our screens here, we can't read it. So maybe you could use your pencil and point to it?
Yeah. So this is already 45.
Okay.
And this is, in fact, this is also 45, including part of it in the county is 45.
And
also.
So going into the city of Galt, the speed limit is what?
This is 45, and I think the city also steps further down beyond 45. And here it's 35, and then also could potentially go further, even lower into the urban area.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Natoli?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. A couple of quick things to follow up on, and certainly want to thank staff for their work. I know that we've had a number of requests over the better part of a year, if not longer, for looking at some of the activity, certainly the accidents that have occurred out there, the speeding that occurs on a real regular basis, probably on a daily basis. And I think, as Lou pointed out, with the growth certainly in the city of Galt, and folks I think using alternative routes to get to and from not only the city but Highway 99, Twin Cities obviously is carrying many more cars. We were talking about that earlier this morning. That this makes good sense, and in fact some of these roads, again, when they're you see numbers like 1,400 or 1,200 volume per day, it may not sound like a lot as compared to suburban areas elsewhere in the county, but it is a lot of these rural roads, and I know we'll hear from one of the residents who's been very instrumental in some of the conversations on this in a moment. But I think one of the things that needs to be pointed out, that these roads are not only rural roads, some cases they're fairly narrow. They have fairly steep roadside ditches. They have many driveways that enter and access both homes as well as some of the other activities on rural properties. And so the ability to have much shoulder width in the event, whether it was a speeding incident or a potential accident, to evade those just really doesn't exist. And I did want to, while I get the map up there, ask, and it came out of the conversation this morning, if you can take the pencil, show where Walker Park is there, Lou, right there, yeah, that location, that looks like that carve out there. It's a City of Galt facility. It has soccer fields there, other active uses of the park. It's fairly heavily used. As a part of this, I think came out of a conversation this morning, I'd like to have us to go back, take a look at a four-way stop there. Currently, we stop the north-south legs of Sargent, but we allow for free flow and or. I think as you both exit the city, where it's already posted for a similar speed limit, but also as you enter that area, and it's not a lot of walk-to activity to that park, but there is a tremendous amount of activity. It's lighted, and so there are games going on well into the evening. And I would suggest that we ought to look at that location. It may not have the accident history, but nonetheless, I think it makes good sense to look at that location for a stop sign as well. So. Okay,
we'll look into that.
Okay. And lastly, I would just say that I know it's taken a while to get this to the board. I appreciate the patience of a number of residents from throughout the area, but I think bundling these together gave a fuller picture for my colleagues and certainly for the staff to take a look at. So I appreciate the work that's been done to bring this today. And hopefully it'll help. I think enforcement continues to be an issue. It's a rural area. area, and when you look at accidents and traffic volumes, obviously the CHP's demand on their time and enforcement activities are pretty limited out here, although they do work New Hope and Twin Cities roads at times. Some of these interior streets where people live and obviously have their investments in their property and certainly their families and in homes doesn't necessarily get any attention. So I guess posting the speed limit so it is enforceable and in a way that will allow us hopefully to advise motorists to be more careful when they're passing through some of these areas. So I'm supportive of this and willing to hear from any
Thank you.
speakers.
We do have a speaker, Liana Bailey Crimmins.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board. Leanna Bailey Crimmins, Pringle Avenue resident. I want to first extend my appreciation, my personal thanks to the board and to the Department of Transportation for taking the matters of speed limits in the rural areas seriously. There's been a lot of analysis, and I agree that bundling this into a single proposal is very beneficial to the community. What I'd like to, in addition to what Mr. Senior Engineer, Mr. Liu, had talked about the 85 percentile, I have shared with you a picture of in front of my home. It gives you an example of the narrowness of the road. Pringle Avenue, obviously there's fairly high speeds. I think the average speed is 51 miles an hour. We did clock people going 60. If this was your neighborhood, I guess pedestrian safety is extremely important. We have 27 homes between Christensen and Sargent, which is a fairly dense population, 31 driveways. We also have, which is a little bit different than Sargent, we actually have 3 access roads coming into, which I don't believe has been expressed. And we also have a narrowing where the easement right after John Rocha actually narrows. So right in front of our homes, literally you're standing on dirt and a ditch, and you're basically getting your mail out of your mailbox, and you like to think that people slow down just when they see a human being on the road, but they don't. We like any neighborhood, walk our dogs, take our kids for walks, and we think 45 miles an hour is a great start, but we would actually recommend 40 in that particular area. People are using that as a pathway to get to the freeways. And so again, and I am also in complete occurrence with Mr. Natoli about the soccer field. There's people out there all the time. You have kids, people have birthday parties. A 4-way stop would help improve public safety in that area. That concludes my remarks, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much for coming in.
Thanks, Leanna.
Okay, back. Any further questions of staff? Okay, Mr. Natoli?
Yep.
Motion?
No questions. I would move the staff recommendation with the direction to look at the installation of a 4-way stop at the intersection of Orr and Sargent. And just lastly, if we can go back once we've got this in place and do some monitoring, see if it actually helps to reduce speeds. I mean, I think to Liana's comments that, again, we need to have something that's reasonable and that can be enforceable. On the other hand, if this doesn't begin to do some of what it's intended to do, then I think we need to maybe look at some other measures as well. So I would ask that maybe within a 6 or 9 month time frame, we get a revisiting of the area and see how we're doing relative to speeds and accidents and that such thing. So.
Chair will second the motion.
Okay.
Please vote.
Unanimous vote.
Thanks.
Okay, I think that concludes our business for the morning. Am I correct, Madam Clerk?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so are we ready for closed session?
Yeah, I need to check with outside counsel and see who's there, but I'm pretty sure we are.
Okay, so board will recess for closed session and be back at 2 o'clock.